You are tuned in to DAR Sports Media, a place where, if you come over here and join on the team, you don't have to worry about us being grown men messing up your bag and your flow over beefing with somebody on Twitter. But leaving that shenanigan in that field of expertise, this is the NBA, this is the Hoops Pod, where casual hoops meets real hoops. I'll be asking the questions to our hoop expert here and talking about the things the common man wants to talk about. I think where we're going to start off is somewhere where we were deeply in on the last episode, and there's been an update since then. The Magic City night was canceled by the NBA. This is a little bit after the fact. All of the fervor was last week when this happened. But anybody who listened to the show last time, you sat here and you listened to me read off of NBA.com the advertisement for Magic City, the Magic City night. They had it on their own website, what it was about to be. And then Adam Silver wants to come back around and say, oh, well, when we became aware of what it was, that's when we said we could. It was on your fucking website what it was. So either you put something on your website where you didn't even know what you were advertising, or you caved to the pressure. I think it's pretty fucking obvious it's number two. I'm sure that's the opinion of this fucking podcast. And I just want to say to all of you real quick, and I'm going to let True go off on this because I know he soapboxed it last time. Well, now he has a fucking right to because NBA went all the way through with it instead of it just being a couple of chuckle fucks out there talking about this. If you're not from Atlanta, shut the fuck up about what is considered culturally significant to them in their fucking city. If people from Atlanta are telling you this is culturally significant to them, then that's what it is. And if you're not from Atlanta, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. And in addition,
pretty simple.
Pretty simple. In addition, I'm seeing all these fucking people. Oh, why are you going so hard for a strip club? It's more than that. True, we'll get into it. People from Atlanta have gotten into it a bunch, but it don't even fucking matter. I just want to let you know that 1999 called and they want their personality back. It's the most basic bitch thing you could fucking say in regards to this fucking situation. NBA, you fucking suck. And True's about to talk about it.
Well, the NBA sucks for a number of reasons, but it sucks for this reason because Luke Cornett and Al Horford, who, as I said, they're very interested in what people, what moral ground people choose to stand on. Adam Silver, who has ruined the league in multiple ways over the years. I mean, now he's trying to fix certain things. They're trying to expand, but we'll get to that in a second. I think the whole Magic City thing is I knew that was going to happen just because the league is never going to stand on something. They knew what it was. It was never a big deal. And like I said, Atlanta's culture is Atlanta's culture. I mean, the Hawks have had a major imprint in Magic City. The owners work with them, did a documentary. I think it was a documentary on Stars Network or something like that. So there is a tie in to Magic City, and there's always been a tie in to Magic City. So I think the NBA decided to enough people complain about it. And I already said it's one big element to this that I thought was funny. And it was one thing we don't typically discuss on a sports podcast is the religious factor of what a lot of people were saying, Luke Cornett's saying it because he's a Christian, and I won't go deep into that, but I think that's a hilarious way to spin it, considering, like I said, we got a bunch of abusers, and you got a bunch of people with rape allegations against them in the NBA, but we draw the line at a night for hoodies and chicken wings. That's where we draw the line, and I think it's real corny. Amongst other choice words that I could use, but that's the way it is. The NBA caved to a bunch of complainers about I don't know. Like, I don't even know what people were mad about. You're like you mentioned, you're going so hard for this. It's like, bruh, it's just not that deep. Like, it's really not that deep. Like, it was a night, a night that fits the culture of Atlanta. Like I said, Magic City has an imprint heavily in the city. The Hawks have an imprint in Magic City. That is what it represents. I think it would have been totally fine. I don't think anybody would have cared if they brought some chicken wings out and some hoodies out at a basketball game. I mean, they do promotions with a bunch of things all the time. They do it with a bunch of very non. I don't even know how to describe it. There's a lot of companies and a lot of brands that are 10 times worse than Magic City that the NBA does business with. They support a lot of bullshit. So I don't really want to hear it. And like I said, I was off of it the moment that I saw that they canceled it, because I was expecting them to cave anyway because the league sucks and that's just what they do. But the Hawks destroyed the Orlando Magic anyway, which if I was, going off of how that presented itself, it seems like the Hawks were mad that the league canceled it and said, fine, we're not even going to give you a competitive game. We're just going to go out there and smoke this team. So I'm going to go out there and smoke them. And that's exactly what they did. The league's full of shit. Adam Silver's full of shit. He's a jackass, and he's always been a jackass. And just because he fixed the All-Star game for the first year after ruining it for the last, 10, 15 years, doesn't change anything to me. And I think him, like you pointed out, they knew what it was. They announced it on their website. They know what it was. They didn't expect, I guess, the backlash, but also that's just a very small minority of people just whining and complaining about literally nothing. It's literally just a night. Like, oh, what are we going to say about our kids? And kids want to, like, I don't really understand that anyway, because if your kid asks what that is, you can just explain it or choose to explain it a different way. Like, it's
something that ain't for you.
Yeah, it's like, that's your discernment as a parent. Like, it's not up to the league to help you parent your children. I don't really understand that at all. And there's a bunch of stuff that people complain about, and like I said, it just really rings out as just people being completely out of touch, not understanding. If you are living in Utah, if you are living in Montana, Wyoming, why the fuck do you care what happens on a random Monday night in Atlanta for a basketball game? It doesn't make sense, especially for like a local institution that is very popular amongst Atlanta locals, people, tourists. I don't really get it, but that's the league. That's the way it goes. Just a bunch of corny shit. And yeah, like I said, I really don't have too much. I not really going in on the league as much as I could, because I really don't care. I think it's just corny. I think the league is trash right now. The NBA is garbage right now in general, and I don't think expansion is going to help at all. Although I'm looking forward to seeing the Seattle Supersonics logo come back, I just think the league needs a complete overhaul, because it's bullshit every single night for the NBA. Every single night.
So that leads us into our next subject. News circulating that we're looking at possibly 2 expansion teams soon, as soon as possibly next year. Most likely to be Seattle and Las Vegas. Seattle, I feel like it wasn't just a shame that they lost, that they allowed the team to be lost in the first place, but the fact it's taken so long to correct that situation is fucking unconscionable. And so very happy to see the Sonics come back. Like you said, they have multiple phenomenal logos. That one that they have with the skyline behind them too is fucking great. I hope they incorporate the skyline into the court some way. Great color scheme, great regular logos, great,
yes, sir.
Great everything. It's wild that the Sonics have been gone for as long as they've been gone. So I'm super happy to see them back. I see some people maybe not so hot on the Las Vegas idea. I cannot disagree more. I know that the Vegas thing hasn't really worked out for the Raiders like this, but I just feel like it's a very viable location. as far as like free agents, like who the fuck doesn't want to, who the fuck doesn't want to go live there and be a millionaire there? That's a real fun place to be a millionaire in.
Or not a fun place to be a millionaire. And there's also that you could end up like Floyd,
Yeah,
you know,
true,
and
true.
like you gotta be careful out there in Vegas.
But I just feel like it's a great place to add the rotation for all-star stuff, for good home field advantage, for when you're bringing in other teams to go against you. I don't know. I think it's like a really natural fit, and I'm glad Vegas is on the way up in the manner of which it is, because I fucking love Las Vegas. One of my favorite places in America. Visit there often. So I'm happy about that. Gives me yet another thing to possibly do when I go out there. So happy about that. Super happy about Seattle. I think it's going to be a very interesting expansion draft, considering the fact that it's going to be a way for teams to kind of maybe try to help fix their cap situation, but also give these teams a foundational player to start off with. I think it's insane that we're talking about lottery odds for fucking expansion teams. I don't know why. Again, I asked this a couple weeks ago. Is there some sort of Lovecraftian horror that's going to burst from the Earth's crust and devour all of humanity if the NBA goes away from the lottery system for 1 year or for a few things? Like, is that why they're so locked into they just must do a lottery? For the expansion teams, that makes even like, why would you not automatically give your expansion teams the best chance to get good players and start off on a good note? I just don't understand it. There's no logical argument for it for me. You do a coin flip. Whoever wins the coin flip gets the number 1 pick this year, and the other team goes number 2. And the next year, you flip it, and whichever team got the number 2 this year gets the number 1 next year, and the other team gets the number 2. And you do that for the first 2 years, since you're doing 2 expansion teams. It is your responsibility to create more viable franchises, not just more. So why we overcomplicate this is fucking beyond me. But talk to me about Seattle. Talk to me about Las Vegas. Talk to me about the process of building up those 2 teams right off the bat.
It's going to be interesting because you have to obviously, provide the players to make them a team that can at least compete. But you also got to look at the way the league is now. There's a bunch of teams out there that are in these locations and they have zero competitive drive. I mean, Utah has not competed for anything in like 4 or 5 years now. Memphis went from being a perennial playoff team to now being at the end of the play-in. Portland Trailblazers are, I think, 9th or 10th in the West right now. But I mean, when's the last time they've been relevant? Like, Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum was around last time they were really relevant. So when you have a league like that and you bring in Seattle, you bring in Las Vegas, what this is going to do is just add more revenue to the league. It's just a way for the rich to get richer, honestly, because what good is going to come from this Las Vegas team is probably not going to make a playoff, especially in the Western Conference. Let's be honest. They're going to move Minnesota. They're going to move Memphis to the Eastern Conference, which Minnesota probably should be in the Eastern Conference anyway. Consider it's it is in the Midwest, but you got to look at Detroit's in the Midwest, Chicago's in the Midwest.
They have a bunch of teams within an hour and a half flight from them. So they have a built-in division right there.
Yeah,
it's always seemed insane to me that they have to travel so far when
it makes it. I don't really
Chicago
get.
And Detroit are all within an hour flight.
Oh, and what that does is that gives Anthony Edwards an even better chance at reaching the NBA Finals if they move Minnesota over to the Eastern Conference. And, we'll see how it goes. I think Memphis is the other team that they're talking about. And there's a couple teams they can move over to the Eastern Conference, honestly, if they wanted to. That's in the West. But I think those 2 are the teams that make the most sense. So, once they do that, then you'll have Seattle, you'll have Las Vegas. I think Seattle will probably go into a division with, I think Phoenix, Sacramento, Golden State, since that, it's kind of that. And then you'll have like Las Vegas, the Lakers, the Clippers. I'm drawing a blank on the 4th team that they would have in that division. But the Las Vegas team is not going to be successful like that, and I need people who are expecting it to be successful to temper their expectations, because no matter what you have with an expansion draft or whatever, you're still going to probably bring in some coaches who are going to be distracted, probably living in Vegas, depending on who you bring in.
I know who they better not bring in.
Yeah, so you got a lot of players who are going to be distracted, especially during home games, and it'll be great for tourism in terms of Vegas, even though Vegas is already a huge, one of the biggest tourist spots in the world. It gives you another thing to do.
Tidbit, by the way, I happen to know that there's a certain coach of a pretty famous basketball team in Southern California that happens to live in Las Vegas. Interesting little deal there.
That's very interesting. Well, as far as it concerns with Seattle, I mean, Seattle has a rich history. Obviously, the Supersonics still hated that the Supersonics went away back in like 08, 09 anyway. When you look at the Gary Payton, Sean Kemp years, even the Ray Allen and KD coming there, like there's a bunch of things that happened in Seattle's history that if they do bring it back, I would love to see something like Gary Payton becoming a part of that organization when they bring it back. That's arguably the greatest player to ever play for the Supersonics, at least as they were the Supersonics. And I think OKC is going to give back Seattle's history, like the history of a franchise. They get that back, so that'll be great. I wouldn't expect much from Seattle, but they probably have a better chance at doing something than the Las Vegas team, considering the Las Vegas team will be once again with like the Clippers and the Lakers. And while the Clippers aren't really doing too much, the Lakers are still going to be perennial, at least playoff team contenders with Austin Reeves and Luka. So you're not looking at much for the Vegas team, but Seattle team, there's slight promise because, for one, the Phoenix Suns aren't really going to be that great. The Warriors, after Steph leaves, they're going to suck. And the Sacramento Kings are quite possibly the most dog shit organization in the league. So there is a chance for Seattle to come in, maybe win their division and maybe get like a cornerstone player that can help take them to the next level. And there's a shit ton of talent in the G leagues right now. There's a shit ton of talent all around. You bring those guys in, you give them 25, 30 minutes a night, 35 minutes. These guys can go out there and put up 15, 20, 25 because the league is as easy as it's ever been to play in. I don't care what anybody says. It's not nostalgia clouding people's minds. This is the easiest league. We just watch Bam Adebayo go for 83 points and shoot 43 free throws. You got people going against the Wizards. You got Jalen Doran going against the Wizards and getting 36 and 17.
Last week was we did a media show last week. We was talking about the Paramount WB deal. Last week was maybe the most overall nastiest week in the history of sports between Bam Adebayo, 59 points, free throws, and how the Ravens did the Raiders on that Max Crosby situation. Nastiest week overall in sports history last week.
Nasty work. Very nasty work in the sports world.
It's a very nasty work. Olympics. We had the whole medal stand out, man. Oh man!
And I just want to say for anybody who listens to this, that Bam Adebayo game is bullshit. And I know people like, oh man, if you get a chance to go for 83, I get the story. His grandma, I think, died when she was 83 or something like that at age 83. So, and it was her birthday, so he went out to get 83 points for her. And I was like, that's cool, but 43 free throws. Or something like 43 free throws is nasty in a professional basketball game. And everybody's like, well, the Wizards shouldn't have been fouling them. Like, you don't call those fouls. They were leading by 30 points and he played 43 to 44 minutes in a game that they were winning by 30. It was just a complete dog shit. I don't have any respect for that game. I respect the first three quarters. The first three quarters where he had like 62, I'm like, that's a fire game. Y'all up by 30. You broke LeBron's record for the most, points as a Heat player. Great. I don't have any problem with that because you did it without, even though I was looking at, he had like 19 or 20 free throws at that point anyway. And I was like, all right, that's about the average for a 60-some point game, 15 to 20 free throws, unless you like Steph or somebody like that. Steph, barely getting them free throws and a couple other players barely getting them free throws. You're just getting on straight buckets. That's cool. but Bam went out there and got 43 free throws. Majority of his points in the fourth quarter came from free throws. Like majority of his points came from free throws, and that's where you can't respect it. I'm a Kobe fan, but it wasn't about like, oh, he's beating Kobe's record. Kobe don't have the record. Will has the record, and Will probably will always have the record, even though it's super easy to score. Nobody else getting 43 free throws, and like Luka don't get that. Jokic don't get that. You know what I'm saying? And so SGA don't get that. So if these guys who are the top players in the league don't get that, how the hell does Bam Adebayo get that? I think like SGA don't even average 10 free throws a game. Luka don't even average over like 10 or 11 free throws. Jokic don't. And these are the top scorers in the league. And so you can tell me for one game, Bam Adebayo gets 43. Like, it was dog shit. It was the biggest abomination I've ever watched in the NBA happen. And it completely crystallized why this league sucks right now. Like I said, the league is in a terrible
I floated
place.
this to some hoop heads recently, some friends of mine. It sounded insane. Just like when I said that they should move bowl games in college football to August and the beginning of September. And it sounded insane at first. And then it started sounding logical real fucking fast. It sounded insane when I said the NBA ought to move to free throws or just an automatic 1 point. And then you don't stop the game. You don't do nothing. Just foul. Here's your 1 point. Keep playing. Inbound the ball. Got a little bit WNBA action. Did you want to talk about their new CBA? That's quite impressive, quite shocking.
Yeah, CBA agreement. Based on what I read so far for the WNBA, I think it's a $7 million salary cap, which is a world of difference from what it was before.
Which is like a 700% increase.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's insane how much. I believe the max that any of these ladies were making before was like 120,000, and now the max contract is like $1 million. Like this is an explosion in what is available for them.
Yeah, so I think 250,000 was the max because Asia Wilson signed a deal for 200,000, and that wasn't even the max. It was close to the max, but it wasn't the max. I think 225, 250. Which there's a very short list of people that were even making 250,000 in the league. So I'm really excited for the ladies. The WNBA deserves that. These ladies have been putting on arguably better product than the NBA in the last however many years, and they got a dynasty in the Las Vegas Aces. Asia Wilson is the best player. She's about to sign for $1.4 million supermax contract, which she deserves every penny of that, and plus some. And that says a lot about what can happen for Paige, Caitlin Clark, the Angel Reese's. Like, these are the names that carry a lot of weight. So if they can sign for 750, 1 million, we're talking big money. And like I said, the time is now when you can go out there and play a more ethical game of hoops.
I think next year is going to be like the year if CC can come back healthy, because you got Paige in her second year, CC hopefully progressing in what she can do, Asia being what she is. Audie Crooks is going to be really, really interesting as a rookie. Angel Reese continuing to develop. Like, I think next year's going to be like the year, man, where you have like the 5-6 stars, and then Kelsey Plum too, like being as good as she is and being a part of that West Coast team with
Cameron Brink, with Kia Jackson,
with the Ice Barbie, So I think next year is going to be like the best year. There's going to be 6 or 7 like major storyline stars to pay attention to. Like, obviously if everybody stays healthy, Caitlin Clark's back to form.
That's going to be the tough part.
Like, played really well without her and Sophie Cunningham last year. She's going to be back. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff that could happen. The whole league is going to be it's going to be their best year ever next year, I think.
Absolutely. The WNBA has such a wealth of talent that it baffles me that people were like, oh, like that was the age old criticism, like, is it going to make money or is it going to make enough money and blah 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 blah. And it's like, listen, they just didn't have the media deals in place. They just didn't have the right proper. Now they have that funding. Now they have those deals. You're going to see more commercials. You're going to see. I mean, look at what these ladies make in endorsements already. Paige is making a bunch of money. Caitlin Clark is making a bunch of money. Angel Reese has like model contracts and these different deals. So they're making money here and they're making money on the court, but and then the Unrivaled League also, which has done wonders for the WNBA's for the CBA, because Unrivaled was paying some of those ladies more than they were getting paid by the WNBA, which is ridiculous because Unrivaled doesn't have the same massive budget, doesn't have the same structure, and they're giving these ladies more money added to what they earn, and they deserve it. They all deserve it. And I'm excited to see what happens this season. I think this is going to be a great season. A lot of good rookies coming in. A lot of there's a laundry list of free agents, unrestricted free agents.
Yeah, the free agency list is insane after this.
So you don't know, you could see a Breanna Stewart end up in Las Vegas with Asia Wilson. You could see a new super team form. You could see, people going from place to place. Like, you could see a lot. And I think that's the drama that matters. Whereas the CBA and the NBA completely kind of handicapped them in terms of like what they can do now. Teams are having to let go of players, trade their franchise players, or only pay these guys, only pay this guy. And like, you got to finagle a whole bunch of stuff going on. So the NBA is kind of losing its luster a little bit. And I think the WNBA is stepping up. Big shout out to Asia Wilson for signing it, getting ready to sign that Supermax contract. Over the next few weeks or so, we're going to start hearing more and more and more about those free agents and who's going to sign for what, and you're going to see some great deals. And I'm just excited for those ladies because they work their ass off. And they are extremely talented, and they've helped take this league. And I heard some people like, oh yeah, you got to give the credit to CC and all of the stuff. And it's like, Caitlin Clark is great. Caitlin Clark has contributed to it, and she is very talented. Man. But you can't, Asia Wilson is the best player in the league. You could look at Sabrina and Breanna Stewart out there in New York for the New York Liberty. You could look at Angel Reese. Like I said, Angel Reese is extremely popular. I think there's a section of America that might not see how popular Angel Reese is, but there is the other section of America, which, she's got millions of followers. She's got deals over there, here and there. Paige is getting very popular. Obviously she's going to continue getting popular there. I think Paige's girlfriend is coming out of Connecticut, and I believe she's going to be in the draft as well. I think she's the projected number 1 pick, Ozzy. So there's a number of like narratives there. If Dallas gets the number 1 pick and they put Paige together with Ozzy, that's UConn. UConn championship people right then and there with another team, and they could put them with some heavy hitters with this free agency. So we don't know what's going to happen. The LA Sparks, obviously they didn't do great last year, but they got enough enough players and enough just enough talent to make a run if they're healthy. And that's what it's going to come down to in the WNBA is everybody staying healthy. And like I said, you're going to see the WNBA everywhere because in order for that CBA to get approved, that means the marketing and the push is going to be through the roof now. So you're going to be seeing these ladies everywhere, and everybody should support them because they deserve all the support. Their product is better than the NBA right now. So they deserve the support.
Speaking of the best product, I'm not sure anybody's catching SGA for this MVP, man. He broke that record the other night. What was it? 107 straight 30-point games or something like that.
Yeah.
Matt had a 30-point game since 2024 or something. Just disgusting, outrageous.
That's how you know that. That's how you know shit is different in this era.
They're gonna have a crazy amount of wins.
They're smoking the Nets right now.
They are beating the dog shit out of the Nets right now as we record this. It's pathetic.
40-point lead
for the MVP, man.
No, that's there's not much else to say. I mean, the SGA, of course, is going to point out right now because the third quarter is almost over. He's probably going to sit the third quarter. He has exactly 20 points. He on 9 shots, and he's only shot like 4 or 5 free throws. So he is the MVP. Obviously, some people are saying, "Oh, we could give it to Luka." No, don't get me wrong. Luka's balling right now as well. I just want to give Luka all the credit. Wemby's balling right now. If you're going to put anybody else in the conversation, it would have to be Wemby next to
Wemby's
SGA.
been so out of control this year, man. Oh my
Yeah.
God, these playoffs are going to be fucking.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be exciting. The Spurs look like a well-oiled machine right now, even though they've had some slips here and there. But OKC, SGA is going to be MVP. He's going to be back-to-back MVP. They're about to win 63 to 65 games, especially with the way their schedule's set up. They're about to win their 55th game, and they are 55-15. I can't see them losing like another 5 games. And even if they do lose another 5 games for the season, so let's say they decide to rest, that's still another 60-plus win season. And right then and there, SGA is not going to win the scoring title probably this year because he's just going out there and smoking these teams. I am looking forward to, seeing SGA win another MVP. I believe the way OKC looks, they might win another championship if they can stay healthy. And, it's not too many teams. I will say you got to watch out for the Celtics. Jason Tatum's back. And
look damn good since they come back too.
Yeah, so and they're smoking the Warriors right now. They're smoking the Warriors right now,
smoking their boots.
But to be fair, that's expected. The Warriors are expected to get Steph Curry back in about another 2 to 3 games.
And they need him.
Granted, they also need Moses Moody back, who's also been out. Al Horford's out for another 3 or 4 games, or 2 or 3 games. Steph Curry, who had just came back, he's out again. He's been terrible in terms of health. So the Warriors are about to get their reinforcements. Hopefully they can find a way to manage to get the 8th seed for the play-in, or they might end up as 8th seed in general. I will say Kristaps Porzingis, it looks like he's a good fit with the team. Obviously they're not doing great against the Celtics, but he just dropped 30. He was averaging 20. So, in the last 3 or 4 games. So I think that right there shows you what he can do. Playing next to Steph, he's going to get a lot of gravity, get a lot of empty, a lot of space. With Moses Moody back, Al Horford, they could be a slightly dangerous team in the play-in. They could, beat the Suns. They could beat the Clippers. They could beat the Blazers with a fully healthy team. So, granted, I don't expect, obviously, the Warriors are not going to win anything, but at least get into the first round of the playoffs, maybe surprising a higher seed if you get the 7th seed or something like that. You manage to do that, that could be fun. But yeah, the Celtics look like the team to beat right now in the Eastern Conference. The Knicks are a little bit too up and down. The Pistons, I don't take the Pistons seriously as a contender. So, like I said, there's a lot of things, a lot of things going on in the league, but I think the Thunder and the Celtics look like the top 2 teams to meet in the finals this year, which would be a great series. And SGA is the MVP. Nobody's catching him in that regard. No matter what you think, nobody's catching him. So,
DAR Sports will be back next week with a media pod. Whatever you guys got boosted up on the Medium channel, that's what we'll be covering. Maybe talk a little wee bit of some Oscars. Most of our Oscars conversation is the type of stuff that we do off air, though. Maybe I'll record some of those sessions someday. We'll put them on a Patreon or something. It's a little too hot for the general public. But all that, so much more, because the world of DAR never stops.